This talk is about perspective, particularly historical perspective. It is about three men who critically re-examined their perspectives, and when you leave here, I hope you are more able and willing to do the same. For this talk is also about involving you in looking at hidden realities. Usually a shift in perspective involves more than just evidence and reason. Often it also involves shifting entrenched psychological attitudes. See if you can spot these in the narratives I will tell. Projection, that is ascribing one's own attributes to others. Emotional bias, often an emotional attachment to preferred frames of reference. And cognitive dissonance, how well we deal with cognitive dissonance is the essence of an open mind. You will have your chance at the end when it will be your turn to face a dissonant perspective. My first example is about perspective in general. Galileo presented new evidence for a sun-centered theory, but he also knew he had to overcome his peers' emotional attachment to the earth-centered theory. The conventional earth-centered theory explained the movement of the stars and the sun as their own motion. But before Galileo, the sun-centered theory, which had the earth moving at 1,500 kilometers an hour, did not explain why we could not sense this motion. Galileo explained this by his concept that all motion is relative to an observer's frame of reference. Imagine a stationary ship. A cannonball dropped from the top of the mast will fall straight down the mast. Imagine the same experiment performed on a ship sailing smoothly across the sea. The ball will fall straight down the mast when the ship is moving. Did that surprise anyone? Galileo said that if you went below into a cabin and watched fish in a bowl, they could swim fore and aft with equal ease. He said inside a ship you could imagine you were moving, then again you were at rest. If you see a ship go by, you can ascribe its motion to yourself or to it. Galileo generalized that principle to the motion of the sun and the stars. He realized we were projecting our motion onto the heavens. The motion lies not in our stars, but in ourselves. A point to remember is that we have to understand our own place when we're trying to understand reality. You probably have chosen a side on the earth is moving debate. Why? Do you have any evidence? Check out Foucault pendulum for empirical evidence that the earth does move. It must be true. It's on YouTube. My next example is Edmund Morel. Edmund Morel sailed from England to Belgium to work for King Leopold. Leopold had set up the humanitarian International African Association to protect the Congolese from the Arab slave trade and develop their economy by exporting ivory and rubber, which Morel's shipping company transported to Belgium. Even though they were being helped, Leopold had to constantly send arms and ammunition to quell violence in the Congo. How could the violence be explained when the natives' conditions had been drastically improved? As Leopold said, where formerly the natives hardly knew how to get their daily food, now European enterprise has brought them unthought-of wealth. Now you try some inductive reasoning. Morel noticed that almost no trading goods were sent to the Congo, only arms and ammunition, while great quantities of ivory and rubber were shipped from the Congo. What do you think Morel in Belgium inferred was happening in distant Africa? He inferred that Leopold was using slave labor, so that the cause of the uprisings lay not in the Congolese, but in Leopold, and that the International African Association was a sham. Hidden beneath it was a for-profit society, cleverly wrapped in the same flag. Morel's activism forced the British government to send the diplomat Roger Casement to investigate. He described Leopold's use of slave labor by force, terror, mutilation, rape, and mass murder. With Sir Roger Casement's encouragement, Morel organized the Congo Reform Association and toured Europe. Leopold used the newspapers to promote his perspective. Next example, Sir Roger Casement. If anyone knows about King Leopold's Congo, they've probably read the excellent book King Leopold's Ghost by Adam Hochschild. Sir Roger Casement, as we saw, was a diplomat representing the British Empire. As a Protestant loyalist from Northern Ireland, Casement wondered why there had been troubles with the wild Irish, the disloyal bandits, rebels, and terrorists for 700 years. After seeing Leopold's Congo, Casement began to change his perspective and generalized what he had seen to England's treatment of Ireland. You may have learned in social studies what the trips carried to Ireland: security forces. and what they took away: food, rent, and cannon fodder. And the food was central here to the Irish issue. In 1913, Casement wrote that if there were a united kingdom, truly, there would be outrage in London over starvation in areas of Ireland. During the Great Potato Famines, Ireland was a net exporter of food, while the Irish starved. In 1914, Germany invaded Belgium, and Britain entered the First World War to defend the rights of small nations. But Casement noted that did not apply to Britain's colonies, including her first, Ireland. He shifted his perspective, perceiving that the cause of the violence lay not in the wild Irish, but in their masters. In 1916, Casement negotiated for German arms to be sent to support the Easter Uprising, when Irish Republicans declared the Irish Free State. He was captured by the British, and he took the boat to England, where he was convicted and hanged for treason. His bones were brought to Dublin in 1965 for a state funeral. Today in England, Casement is a traitor. In Ireland, a national hero. Two very different perspectives. The excellent book Ireland is a concise history of the last 800 years of Irish history. The beautiful song, The Lonely Bannistrand, or The Ballad of Roger Casement, gives some of the history. Accessible on YouTube. I feel really hip. Now, like Galileo, Morel, and Casement, it is your turn to examine two opposing perspectives that I will leave you to investigate. These perspectives involve descendants of the Congolese, the Haitians. Millions of Haitians passionately disapprove of the policies of Canada, France, and the United States towards Haiti. I ask you on your own to examine this dissonant perspective without emotional bias, but with regard to evidence and reason. The essence of open-mindedness is the ability to deal with dissonance. This other perspective is that the cause of Haiti's poverty and violence lies not in the Haitians, but in our policies towards them. Pause for a moment if you were about to form an opinion. Do you know the history of Haiti? How they got their independence? Which empires they fought? How they acquired their odious debts? How an imposed free trade ruined their agriculture? Do you know who kidnapped their president in 2004? The great democracies. If not, could you really make an informed opinion? No. Opinions need to be earned. Please read Paul Farmer's article. Paul Farmer's the hero of the best-selling book, Mountains Beyond Mountains. He's one of the founders of the Partners in Health and the United Nations Deputy Special Envoy to Haiti. Paul Farmer's short article, Who Removed Haiti, will give you a good introduction to the history of Haiti and the politics of now. Both an interview with Aristide and a concise history of Haiti by Danny Glover are available on democracynow.org. Can I just leave you with what the founder of Buddhism said? Accept nothing, discard nothing, without proper examination. You decide. But remember, without a change in perspective, we would not accept that the earth moves. There are still things hidden from us. We need to always seek a truer perspective. Thank you.